Good morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang once again from Future Fast Forward. I've decided to make this video speech today is because of a momentous event that took place yesterday, the 19th of February 2019. In time when history judged Malaysia and our leaders, I think history will agree with me that yesterday was a great turning point for all Malaysians, especially for our fellow brothers and sisters of the Bumiputera community. And I refer to the incredible article by the brilliant intellectual giant Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. You will recall in one of my past videos, I said on 9th May, the day of the election results, at 7 p.m. I rushed to Tun Mahathir's house at 7 p.m. and I told him, it will take time to form the ministers in your cabinet, select them for their relevant portfolio, and they will take time because they were all inexperienced, virgins. And therefore you have to start running twice as fast from day one. And I did ask him to form an NEAC, but he chose to rebrand it as CEP, Council of Eminent Persons. And one of the names I suggested to Tun Mahathir was Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. For some strange reason, she was neglected and not included in that CEP. Be that as it may, fast forward to today, or rather to yesterday. 7 months, this country slackened, indulging its ego trips, power grabs, parroting and strutting like peacock, as if, having attained power, they were giants. Without exception, each and every member of the cabinet, each and every leader of the Pakatan Harapan coalition were living in a world of illusion. Not one leader in government outside gave any inspiration to the people to look forward, turbocharge, and salvage the wreckage, the horrendous state our economy was in, and double up, tighten our belts to move forward. Promises were made and left unfulfilled. Why? Because they finally confessed they didn't expect to win at all the 14th general election. That's it. Yet they behave as if they were God's gift to Malaysia. And I said repeatedly, previously, that only one person, and one person only, has the intellectual capacity and standing equal to, if not better, than Tun Mahathir in terms of intellectual tenacity, right, and capacity. Although she may not have the same tactical and political savvy in manipulating, right, party machinery to sustain power. But at this juncture of our country, what we need more than ever is a savvy, hands-on, no-nonsense commander-in-chief at the front lines, leading the troops to demolish and bury our enemies and achieve victory, and stop the slide of our community, of our country and economy to a cesspool created by none other than the numbskull criminal Najib, and before him, the flip-flop Anwar. 15 years of mediocrity, stupidity, foolishness, and downright criminality. So before I go on to the substance of my speech today, I will highlight to you and to all fellow Malaysians, Google the Star newspaper, 19th of February. Sorry, the Sun newspaper. The Times, Little Time to Lose by Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz, and read the entire speech. But for now, I will read those parts which I think highlight and substantiate what I've been saying about Rafidah Aziz. Without further ado, I ask your indulgence. The title is Little Time to Lose. Okay? That shows she realized and appreciated the urgency. And in the caption, she says, we must work with some sense of urgency. Okay? And that's what she says, if I may. Having given thanks to Tun Mahathir for appointment as a member of the National Economic Action Council, she went on to say, this is very critical, the key word that must be given utmost priority is action. NEAC, National Economic Action Council. The key word is action. The terminology economic actually cuts across sectors and involves society and nation at large. The word council simply denotes the group that's been formed. It could be a committee, a task force, or whatever. What's really important is that after all the discussion and debates, the poring over reports and working papers, there will be an expeditious, effective action taken by any and all agencies, departments and units in the public sector that have been tasked with respective responsibilities or the decisions made, as also any decisions collectively made by the cabinet. She then warned and reiterated, we have lost ground and time over the last decade. There's no need for me to retell the narrative. It's now about hitting the ground running. Hitting the ground running. Not about reinventing any wheel, politicizing things and issues, viewing issues from the narrow parochial perspective, such as purely race or religion, injecting unproductive issues into discussions which are clearly the antithesis to national development, national unity, and overall national interests. The government machinery at all levels must be energized to respond and act as expected by the people or civil servants, not civil bosses. Devoid of self-interest and ulterior motives, I say this from my heart. Because unless we all feel that strong sense of service, of responsibility to the nation, and doing our part in our respective roles in society, very little can come out of what we do. It's not working hard, but working smart. It's not about playing our roles, such as dancing to whatever tunes people are playing to the gallery, and playing the chameleon game, changing colors as and when necessary and expedient. We are all stakeholders in the nation. Clearly, we must miss the target of Vision 2020 as measured in quantitative terms. But developed nation status is not only about statistics and figures. The qualitative aspects are even more important. The positive mindsets and attitudes of Malaysians. nurtured at home and in schools and perpetuated throughout life, will ensure that our human capital truly are the prime movers of the nation's social economic development. We must work with a sense of urgency, if only to not lag behind others who are before this actually behind us in achievement. Many Malaysians are not so much worried about their own future as they are of the future of their children and grandchildren. The people expect good outcomes and results from any government initiative, measure or policy. And more importantly, they want to feel that those results are filtering down to them. This is an incredible summary and statement by Rafidah Aziz. I can say, and I stand to correction, because I received many statements, views by ordinary people, from hawkers to professionals, that they have not been inspired at all since May 9th, when election closed and gave victory to Pakatan Harapan. They were never inspired by any leaders in government, including Tun Mahathir as Prime Minister, and their respective leaders of the parties. Not Anwar, not Siang, none. Now this is very painful for me to say, very painful. But this is the ugly truth. For once, when I read this article, this statement by Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz, that she's now in the NEAC, and she used the word, the focus is on the word action, I realized that at last, at long last, Malaysia has come to grips with the inevitable. And finally, if I have to say so, for Mahathir now to appoint her in NEAC is a self-admission that he has taken the wrong path for the last 7 months. Surrounded by, right, overrated, underemployed, okay, so-called experts, advisors, what have you, in the government and outside. Okay, I say so many times, I'm sick and fed up of a particular party, and two scoundrels indulging in trying to promote themselves in positions of power in the party, and talk cock and bull, posturing and projecting image, the entitlement to power. And of course, each time after my criticism, and the words of wisdom by Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz on the previous occasions, they then, right, repeat what she says, as if they subscribe to those aspirations. That's why read her speech carefully. A lot of wayang kulit. A lot of wayang kulit. And she says what? We must start running. Urgency. That's why I said also on May 9th to Tun Mahathir. From day one, start running. Because you can't do it with a bunch of virgins, inexperienced cabinet. And takes a proven right to me, to all of you. Let me say now, if Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz fail to do what I intend to explain to you this morning, then that's it. Malaysia cannot be rescued or go down the tubes very fast. And the fact that some Malaysians are in Cambodia looking for jobs is the first signal, right, that we are in the downturn. Hey, imagine going to Cambodia for work, which means they can't find work in Malaysia. and got himself in a big shit of trouble. Okay. Now, I've said before, 15 years of misrule by UMNO and Barisan Nasional, specifically the Prime Ministers and the Supreme Council of UMNO, has led to a state of kleptocracy, outright criminality, daylight plunder and rape of our economy for oligarchs, a handful of filthy rich bastards, criminal bastards. UMNO has money, no power. Bersatu has power, no money. This is the result now. You can see now, fighting, propaganda, counter-propaganda, all because of money. And of course you have the ultras, religious fanatics, the Wahhabis, talking about religious unity, Malay unity, in a vacuum, champions of race, religion, culture, and what have you. And I've exposed to all of you the all bunkers, false champions. Defend Islam! That itself is oxymoron. Since when Allah, God Almighty, needs anyone to defend Him? He's all powerful as in the Quran. But human beings, little decomposed, Napoleons, in past, in UMNO says, Allah Akbar, we are the champions, we will defend Allah. We will defend Islam. We are the champions. But these champions, they destroy Islam, lie to their teeth, and say it's right to lie to win power. You see? And recently, the great Imam of Al-Azhar, Al-Sharif, great Imam, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyid, issued an agreement with the Pope. And in one paragraph of that agreement says, Allah does not need such defenders. Allah does not need people to use His name, blasphemy, to justify their stupid, barbaric criminal action. And it's very important that the opening paragraph of the document says, abhor the killing of fellow human beings. To kill one person is to kill the entire humanity. A direct quote from the Quran and many other parts of the Quran. And yet, our idiots in Malaysia, the past Wahhabis and followers in UMNO and elsewhere, tear Islam, degrade Islam for their projection as champions. And therefore, at this juncture, when there's all this noise, propaganda, deviations, all right, and lies, we need a voice of moderation, truth, resilience to lead us out of this hellhole to a new horizon. And that, I say, is Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. Having said that, I want to tell you that most countries have cycles up and downs. Economies have cycles up and down. Okay? Check and Google, all the experts will say there are cycles that govern every aspect of life. As a human being, you're born, child, teenager, adult, old age, and you die. Cycle. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, cycle. Annual cycle. Business cycle, industrial cycles, boom and bust cycles in global economy, national economy. Some are 10 years, business cycles, some are 20 years, some are 40 years, 50 years, or 100 years. Empires grow and collapse in cycles. I therefore put to you a concept which I've researched. It doesn't matter whether you agree what I'm going to say now, but ask yourself, are we now in a down cycle? a secular downtrend as opposed to a secular uptrend. Okay? An uptrend is like that, isn't it? Uptrend is never a straight line, right? You have straight line, but with intermittent downturns. Okay? But the trend is up. So this is a secular uptrend. A downtrend, just like a staircase, the opposite direction. It goes down with intermittent up, like a staircase. Okay. All cycles have this situation, this characteristics, nothing new. Okay. Now, likewise, I want to show to you that our country has gone through what we call a 50-year cycle. I've ignored the first 10 to 30 years when Tun Abdul Rahman became Prime Minister, because then, until Tun Razak took over, we didn't have a really national policy for our country, specifically for the Bumiputra community. And then I took this graph here. It shows, right, a bell curve from 1970, the 50-year cycle, ending in 2020. Okay. At the bottom we say from 1970 to 2020 is 50 years. The peak point is 1995. And there was a blow up in 87 where UMNO was disregistered and split. 1998, ASEAN crisis, and 2008 global crisis. This is the 50-year cycle starting from Tun Razak's ascendancy as Prime Minister of Malaysia. Okay? Now, when Tun Abdul Razak died, he was succeeded by various prime ministers, right? So, the reign, achievements of subsequent prime ministers must be in the context of that 50-year cycle. Okay. Now, this is what happens. Mahathir took over in 1981. Alright? Roughly 10 years after Tun Razak, 1970. Even within the 40-year cycle, the 40-year cycle of Tun Mahathir is within the 50-year cycle of Tun Razak, and approximately ends in 2021. Okay? Again, I highlighted 87 crisis of UMNO, 1998 crisis, ASEAN crisis, and 2008 global crisis. The peak was 2001. Okay? Can you compare that? The two bell curves. Okay? Watch carefully, okay? Have it registered in your mind. Why it's so important? Now, although the peak for Tun Razak was 1995, theoretically, we could achieve peak in 1995 because he died, and subsequently whoever took over had the path of ascendancy delayed. The 87 crisis when UMNO was split was a major crisis that brought back or stalled the onward march. Okay? So, and then when Tun Mahathir took over, alright? Okay? Because of the split in UMNO, the peak could not be reached in 1995. It couldn't reach in 1998 because of the crisis. Alright? ASEAN crisis. And he peaked in 2001. He retired in 2003. So, after 2001, you see a downturn, isn't it? That's the graph. Whether you like it or not. After 2001, just 2 years before Tun's retirement, the bell curve showed that as a country, within this bell curve, that we are on a secular downtrend. Okay? However, my point is this. When Anwar and Najib took over as Prime Minister, they did not bother by action, to achieve the Vision 2020. They gave words, they talk about it, but their entire policies, okay, was to move away from Vision 2020, as I've analysed in all the past budget of these two prime ministers, right? Okay, they sang a different tune and brought us to the state. Had they achieved 2020 or worked towards 2020, we could have stopped a downtrend and maybe have a plateau, okay, and go upwards again, have a new cycle. But they failed. That's why this graph, this bell curve, confirms that we are on a downtrend. And we will hit bottom in terms of our cycle of our country between 2020, right, within the 50-year cycle of Tun Razak, okay, or 2021, or a year later, within the 40-year cycle of Tun Mahathir, which is within the 50-year cycle. Okay, both cycle shows that we will bottom between 2020 and 2021. Now, such trends cannot be exact to the month or year. What is important is for you to understand the trend. Understand the trend. If you do not agree with me as to the bell curve, as a methodology of analysis, very simple. Ask yourself, do you feel, since Plato over, did the country progress? Was the country energized? Working as one? Flip-flop, patla. Lost 2/3. Had to be pushed out by internal coup of UMNO led by Najib. Alright? And instead of taking over and scaling new heights and rush to fulfill 2020, he dilly-dallied. He raped our country. And we have the largest Kelptocracy. Okay? So now we are in 2019. Almost the cliff of the end slide before we fall off from the cliff, 2020. That's why when I read the speech or the article of Rafidah Aziz, A Little Time to Lose, I assume she shares some of my anxieties. Otherwise she would say, little time to lose, must work with some sense of urgency. Why she felt this way? Because 7 months have been wasted. Alright? 7 months have been wasted. It's now about hitting the ground running. Not about reinventing any wheel. Politicizing things and issues. Viewing issues from the narrow parochial perspective, such as purely race or religion, injecting unproductive issues into discussions, which are clearly the emphasis to national development, national unity, and overall national interest. There you are. She's very polite, you know. She'll give examples, but for the choice of words, of course it's English language, you will understand what she's aiming at. And my speech today is not meant for the entire country. It's to people who are policy makers, decision makers, who are in a position to play a great role and change the narrative. Take heed of those words of Cousin Rafidah Aziz, because none of you has the intellectual capacity to match her. Alright? You're well below her. So have the humility, alright, to study her speech and follow her. Because you have failed the country. All of you. In the GLCs especially. Okay? Don't over-exaggerate your talent and your intellectual capacity. All of you has fallen short of the benchmark personified by Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. So watch her. Especially the leaders of the parties. Pada Harapan. Now recently I read another article. Someone said, no, I think from DAP or someone like that. I can't remember. You know, we used to be very good in propaganda, in narratives. Now we lost the narrative and focused on our so-called government duties. Did I not say that? And truth be told, and I dare swear on the Quran, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada, at the Hotel Grand Sheraton in PJ, while waiting for the results of the election, I won't mention name, you know, but I dare challenge him to confront me, to say what I'm saying is wrong. I met a leader of a party. For a short while, only 5 minutes. I said we will win. But I told him in his face, you know what? You better get your party ready for the next election. I repeat, I told him, you better get your party ready for the next election. While some of the leaders are engrossed in government, what will be neglected will be party leadership at the grassroots will be neglected, and the party cannot survive like that. Because I know from experience, and this has come to pass. All the leaders are so YB, kiss hands, you know, cutting ribbons, so full of themselves that they don't even know how to campaign. The entire propaganda machinery of the Pakatan Harapan has collapsed. Partly it's because of one party's indulging in the so-called old party elections that talking cock and bull and power grab. Others were too egoistic, to admit that beyond power, or rather beyond achieving power, harder still is to sustain and maintain power. Be at the top. That's why you want my message to all of you by WhatsApp. The fact that PH government, the fact that BN government did not give any support due to Nicole David. Or they may have given some financial support, but the real support that she could be the icon to galvanize the entire country for excellence on the global stage. 8 times world champion in squash. 9 years. Number 1, consecutively, number 1. Over 102, championship she won. Tournaments she won. And yet what she gets? Cursory recognition. 8 times world champion. And yet, she's treated like what? Just an ordinary sports person. But of course, we have another idiot who not achieved anything, no one world championship. Oh my God, he's been an icon. What has he done? Nothing. Again, it's a woman. Nicole David, a woman. He should never give excuse. Humble, quiet, plow on and plow on. Resilience. Holding the flag of Malaysia high for over 20 years. 8 world championships. But others who achieved so much less, glorified, iconized. But Nicole David, only after my article or my message in WhatsApp that a minister says, well, we will now give due recognition to her. Oh my God. You see, the state of mind. So, God works in mysterious ways. That's why I was so elated. Nicole David announced retirement. All her achievements. Rafidah Aziz retired as a leader, coming back to do more. Like Nicole David, I'll do more beyond my victories. 2 women, outstanding. No man can match them. No man in any sports can match Nicole David. No man, politicians, can match Rafidah Aziz in terms of intellectual capacity, resilience, and leadership. She outshined anybody. Now, that's why I say it's so important for Rafidah at this juncture. You saw this downturn. Huh? This graph cannot lie. Check our data. Where do we stand? Hey, don't just take for word what Ben Naglas says, okay, or Minister of Finance, okay. No government, no ministry will ever admit that during their tenure they have to face a crisis, anti-crisis them. I don't know why, you know. They can't tell the truth to the government and to the people. So what? It's not your fault as so-called, for example, Governor Bank Negara, Minister of Finance, if during your watch, right, global situation and past events led to a screwed up. Don't give me statistics, okay? Look at the trend. And recently I give another message to all of you, right? The Baltic Dry Index plummet to over 50% of the high in 2018. You know what's Baltic Dry Index? It's a measurement of trade, global trade, by the shipping rates, right? When shipping rate collapse all over the world, that means trade, global trade is down. Assholes in British government. And I said, way back in 2008, when I was so sure we were in a downturn, I've written a book about it, okay? Before 2008. Martin asked me, how can you be so sure? We're in a mess. I told him literally, I was watching in Port Klang and Singapore, ships sailing in and sailing out. It was a bit blur. Don't believe me? Go to any port and see how ships are sailing in, sailing out. You won't know whether it's fully laden, half laden, or empty. And the main port in Southeast Asia, Singapore, is in a mess. Big time slowdowns in. Then I told him, to Martin, an armada of ships, 500 over ships, brand new tankers, carriers, bulk carriers, whatever, hiding in plain view behind Singapore along the Tobruk Strait of Johor. And of course in other ports as well, ships were anchored until there was a picture, bird's eye view of this armada. Then he woke up. Oh my God, it's true. There's a global crisis. You see? You don't have to have a PhD, fully donkeys, MBA, master bullshit artists to realize the truth. Stats can lie to you. But if you have stats and you check with reality, it matches, then you know we're deep shit. Likewise, we're deep shit now, isn't it? Forget what Bank Negara says. Forget what MOF say, or what Najib says, or UMNO. Go to the facts on the ground. Alright? Ask the people, the hawkers. They will tell you, tough situation. Okay? If hawkers tell you it's tough, there's one data, one stats, one factor you can ignore. Hawkers complaining. Okay? One barometer that's very accurate. So you don't have to go to, with some PhD, those sorts of detailed research university in Malaysia or whatever library, right? Common sense approach. And I guarantee you, we are down in a shithole. Now, coming back to Rafidah Aziz, why I'm so sure she's the only person, not even Mahathir, can save the booby trap economy. Because she's a Malay, she's a Muslim, she knows what it's like in and within the booby trap economy. And I believe she knows. That's what she says here. I didn't say the words right. She says here, not about reinventing any wheel, politicizing things and issues, viewing issues from a narrow parochial perspective such as purely race and religion. She mentioned it. That means she realized the whole Bumiputera community is diverted to non-issues, race, religion. Like one leader says, after I said, I love justice, but I love race and religion more. And another leader says what? I can't ratify ICER because it will be a member of the Constitution, thereby threatening the special position of the Malays, religion, blah, blah, blah in the Constitution. All lies. And that has held us back from focusing on one issue, on fighting for who can be the better champion for race, religion. This is the situation. Aziz Rafidah, I'm now saying to you personally, I don't know whether or not from your statement, it gives me a lot of confidence. I'm very happy, elated. My prayers have been answered since May 9th. I've been praying that you will come forward. Right now, I'm not sure whether, but hopefully you have, with the economic background. There's only one issue that needs to be done. You ignore race, correct. You ignore religion, correct. So you are saying very correctly, okay? The terminology economic actually cuts through across sectors involving society and nation at large. Okay? And we need effective action. Okay. So, you are what you are. Tan Sri, you are the economist par excellence. You set the pace in Malaysia. The first woman, correct me if I'm wrong, who did a master's in economics. What was her speciality? They were cut across race and religion. I leave it at that. Tan Sri, I know you know the answer. But the only thing is, I don't know whether you have the blueprint yet. I believe you have. Then, I believe that the little time that you have, which is a little time to lose, so for that window of opportunity, I hope we will tell the ugly truth to Tun Mahathir. Ignore all of the bunch of so-called, window dressing members of NEAC. Because you can't work which I try to reach a consensus with, a bunch of people all over the country. And some arsehole either says NEAC is useless because you must have a larger representation in NEAC. Nah, to those arsehole advisors, because they want to be on that board, on that chair, on that table with you. No. It's not a talk shop, as you rightly say. NEAC is a action-orientated organization. No more than 5. If you want input, invite them to talk to you. Sit with you. Every day, they can't do it. Work 40 hours a day, they can't do it. Discipline, they don't have your discipline. It's a tendency they don't have. So I will urge you, Tan Sri, stick to 3 or 4, that you trust absolutely to hit the ground running every day, set out a strategy, the modalities, the methodology, and run. As and when you see a little roadblock, you call those people on that pathway who has an interest to come in, give their input if at all they are relevant. Because within you, you have the answers already. Of course, people will say, Matthias, how can you put all the egg in one basket, one person? We have no choice. In any army, any warfare, who directs the army in war? Who formed the strategy? The top general, right? And then he consults his inner core of commanders who's actually going to lead the war, the soldiers in the battlefield. He don't need all these assholes, right? With PhDs, academics, wankers who doesn't even know about 1 MDB. One said, I don't know about 1 MDB. And he's an economist. When 1 MDB destroys and has destroyed the economy, he said, I don't know anything about it. Huh? The other fellas, I won't mention names, they're all wankers, understand? Wankers. Tan Sri, you don't need wankers. They will slow you down. Please tell Mahathir, okay? At most they can come in and what? If they're volunteers. Once a month, them all. You hold on to your cluster of trusted aides and people who you have tested in your past who can do things. Okay? If not, Tan Sri, if I may, with humility and indulgence, walk away. If Tun Mahathir does not give you the room, the space to do what you're good at, move forward at turbocharged pace, then you'll be sacrificed by a politician or politicians for failure, your failure. But of course, if you succeed, they will ride on the bandwagon and claim, I'm part of success. No. I never urge you. No, I beg you, Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz, lay down your terms. You have to. There cannot be any compromise. Give me the space to do what I have to do, and the country will believe in you and you will succeed. If anybody interfere, undermine your work, and whisper to Mahathir, because they have they are intellectual pygmies, alright? They fear to be outshined. And whisper to Mahathir, I can't work with Rafidah Aziz, this and this and that, okay? And put little potholes and traps to curtail your path. Walk away. You can do that. Because God works in mysterious ways, Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. God works in mysterious ways. Allah works in mysterious ways. The fact that Tun had no choice to get you included in NEC. Yeah? Of course, there's a lot of refresh in that committee. Never mind. Okay? You shine. You shine. Let the country focus on you. That's why my speech today, I want the whole country focus on one person and one person only. Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. She will lead us to the promised land. From darkness to light. Fear not, Tan Sri Rafidah. You have the strength to walk away if you have to. Doesn't mean you abandon the cause. To tell the people, I want to succeed, but leaders fail me and sabotage my effort. Let the country know, and then we will do our part to tell the leaders, whoever they are, who dare undermine or sabotage your effort, piss off. And I hope my last prayer, which I've been praying every morning when I get up, 3:45. And by the time I finish all my daily usual routines, 4:15, I pray for you. My second prayer, my first prayer has been answered. You play a role in recovering, help in the recovery of our economy. My second prayer is, inshallah, you will be made a minister in the cabinet. Fast! So that those nincompoops will have the discipline. The same discipline when you were in the cabinet, when all the men, little fingers in the way, those little chicken feet, were scared of you. You know why? They were pygmies. You were the only light that shined in the cabinet. And that was wonderful. You were trade minister for how many years? When you were trade minister, you also doubled the role as a foreign minister. You did everything for the country. Incredible! Incredible. So to my fellow Malaysians, may I say, rally with me and urge and motivate and give confidence that the country is behind Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. Write to her, email her, phone her, whatever. Associations, NGOs, whatever. Go to her and say, Tan Sri, we are behind you 1000%. We want you to succeed. Whoever block your way, we'll take care of them. You don't have to fight that fight. That fight, it belongs to the Rakyat. Let the Rakyat be your bodyguard, your savior, alright? And your protector. Just focus on this incredible opportunity for you to save our country. You know what I'm talking about. Focus on the Bumiputera economy. That's enough to save the country. If the Bumiputera fail, we fail, the non-Bumiputeras, the non-Malays, the non-Muslims. Because in absolute terms, if the Bumiputera fail, we fail. Simple as that. And what is your expertise? Tan Sri, you have it on the platter. I've told him two in his right ear, out his left ear, you know. Maybe he forgot what I said to him. Doesn't matter. Remind him. The same strident determination and resilience. And I pray that Allah will always protect you, inspire you, and guide you. And to my fellow Malaysians, as always I say, surrender absolutely, unconditionally to the will of Allah. Have absolute faith that Allah will protect us, guide us, and defend us under all circumstances in the face of all enemies, traitors, and adversities. And please unite behind Rafidah, score more victories for Malaysia. With that, I thank you for your attendance and your attention, your patience for my speech this morning, and I wish you a good day. God bless.